Mark Viquez, regional correspondent for the website Stadium Journey, the leader in sports stadium reviews from around the world. I'm also the host of the Ballpark Hunter podcast. And with me today is my special guest, Monica Blake, the general manager of the Minot Hot Tots of the North Woods League. The Hot Tots just released their name and logo. They're fresh off the presses. So it is a pleasure to have you on this show very quickly. Monica, how are you?
I'm doing great, and what an introduction. I'm very excited to be here. And yes, we are very excited to announce the new team name, and I've gotten a lot of reaction from it. So yeah, we're excited.
Yeah, I don't think I was paying attention to the name the team contest. Usually things like that I'm on top of. Ed Rivera, who's host the Dad Hat Chronicles, we were doing a review show last off season on these things, and then all of a sudden one day I see this awesome logo and I'm like, oh, what is that? And it's the Minot Hot Tots. So
There you go.
How we've been here for about a week or two. How's the early demand on hats, the attention from across the country and as well as locally?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we are up here in Minot, North Dakota, which most people listening to this probably have never been to North Dakota, nor have they been to Minot, North Dakota.
One time. I was there one time.
Where were you? See, there you go. Exactly.
Yeah.
So with that, yeah, it's definitely caught the local people are kind of like a little bit, they love it, but it's kind of like what is going on because they're so used to, a team being called a bird, or we have a sister team down in Bismarck that is the Bismarck Larks, which is the state bird. So they're a little bit more used to that, but I think you give it a few more weeks, and I think pretty much in town, everybody in town is going to be on board with it because they're kind of seeing the national reaction, which is maybe a little bit more used to the things like this, with the different kind of funky sports team names going on, especially in minor league and summer collegiate baseball. And the national scene, I mean, if you get on Twitter, people love the Minot Hot Tots. They're really excited about it. And yeah, we've actually just counted. We have 25 different states have purchased merchandise already. We just announced last Thursday. So just really over the weekend that we were able to do that. So we're pretty excited, especially about that national reaction. And people in Minot like it too. Again, they're just a little bit more reserved on some of that stuff sometimes.
So you're saying you're getting more questions locally about the name rather than nationally?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a little interesting. I think they get it. I think they totally understand. Like, if you talk to anybody up here, tater tot hot dish, they get that part. That is like not part of their question line. It's more, what does tater tots and tater tot hot dish have to do with baseball? Which is just really funny for me and you as people that are kind of in the sphere. It's kind of a funny question. I always say, what does a Cardinal have to do with baseball, other than the fact that it's a really well-known baseball brand with the St. Louis Cardinals? So it's interesting, but again, overall, I'd say people are on board and they really like it. So
well, yeah, no, that's great to hear, because I think when I first saw the logo, I was like, damn, they knocked that out of the park. That's a great looking logo, because sometimes people make these caricatures of food and they come out a little corny. That's not the case here. This is a fierce looking tater tot. And I'm a little envious because I'm a big proponent for the Terre Haute Rex of the Prospect League to change their name to the Terre Haute Tots, which was a historic name for baseball there. And I actually drew a logo that was very similar to yours, and I posted it on Facebook, and I'm like, dang, obviously you guys did it better. Mine would have been cheaper if you came to me, but
yeah, exactly.
But yours is a little more professional. And I'm
I'll give him a little bit of a plug. His name is John Worthen. He owns his own design company. We've worked with him on a ton of different logos, and he has done a ton of teams in the Northwoods League. So he does an awesome job, and he's like this, like the chillest guy, like that's like, hey dude, like logo.
Now, so where is he based out of?
He's actually based in Arizona.
Okay. So so this wasn't done from Simon Studios or one of the big boys. It was
No, yeah.
Wow.
So I'll give him a little plug. Yeah, it's John Worthen. Yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't see that in the press releases who designed it. And Even on
Yeah.
Chris Creamer's website, he usually has all that good stuff up there. But yeah, that's a good looking logo. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I
Yeah.
like it.
He does a great job.
And of
So
course, I'm like, okay, let me see what kind of hats they have, and let me wait until other styles come out
right.
because
Yeah. That's
um,
the big thing right now is we so from the time that the final name was actually decided on our end of things, to the event where we announced it, we had about 2.5 weeks. So anybody that knows kind of I guess 3.5 weeks from the logo being started, but knows logo design and merchandise ordering and things like that, we got what we could, but there's a
yeah,
lot more coming. So yeah.
yeah. Are we? Do we have a time stamp on uniforms? Anything creative, traditional?
Yeah, so our uniforms, we're kind of in the design process on things like that. We'll do pretty traditional to start with, but we're really excited about some of our different kind of theme nights and alternative jerseys and things like that and different things we can do. So I'm thinking like a Napoleon Dynamite theme night is kind of a necessity at this point. So yeah, but we're really excited about some of that. Probably won't be released for a little while here, but more merchandise, some more hat designs and different
Mhm.
things like that will be coming probably before the new year, if not before, even before that. So
Yeah, no, definitely. It's like I said, this definitely made a big splash, and sometimes I see ball clubs roll out something safe, but it doesn't seem to be the case anymore. How close was this? How much of a winner was this name? Was it a close race in the final
it was
polls? Okay.
very close actually. And yeah, I mean, I think our ownership group knows North Dakota's pretty safe on a lot of stuff. And like our team names just kind of show that. I mean, so we knew that there, up here, while we knew that the branding on this name would be, endless the different things that we could do. I would say again, it was a very close race in the voting. And so if it wouldn't have been in the top two, I think we wouldn't have done it because we
Okay.
really needed a buy-in from the community on, okay, like I kind of get this, I can get behind this. And we did get that, but the runner-up name was very close on number of votes. It was the Minot Dak Rats, which
Oh,
is
okay. Dak
yes,
rats.
which is a little different. But that is what the Air Force Base up here
Yeah.
calls gophers and prairie dogs and stuff. So yeah, very different name, but those were the top two. So
Yeah, and then I think that probably would have been a nice logo and a great name as well, Dak Rats, and I saw the My Not Why Nots was another name.
yeah,
Which is
yeah.
that the slogan up there? I did some research on that, and that's a term that goes back at least 100 years, if not longer.
Yeah, it is. I mean, a lot of people say, why not, why not?
Why
And then
not?
they
Why
say,
not?
because it's so cold. That is why not. But most people, I mean, that is definitely the saying here. If you talk to anyone in Minot or even North Dakota, if you say, I'm moving to Minot, people say, why? And you say, why not? And
Okay.
so that's really a big thing. And then also the cool thing about that one and why we definitely wanted to throw it into the top five, like you said, you did some research, but one of the first
Yeah.
teams to really ever play in Minot was called the Minot Why Nots, and they only
Yeah.
played for a year. So kind of like you talked about the other team that's called the Tots,
Yeah.
that
Terre Haute Tots.
history.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, that's great. I
So
just I just love when, new clubs say, "Hey, let's honor a little bit of the history." And,
mhm.
who knows? Maybe you guys come out with some throwback jerseys in a few years, and
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
you see what you can do there. So right now you're gearing up for the first season. What are some of the duties you have as GM? What's your day like
Yeah,
preparing?
absolutely. So right now, a lot of the lead up to the event was just kind of getting prepared for that, making sure people knew about it and things like that. In our organization, our general manager kind of handles all the sponsorship side of things. And so right now we're just meeting with as many businesses as possible, telling them about kind of our vision and our name and what we plan to bring to the city of Minot, and kind of things like that. So that's been really exciting, just getting out in the community. I'm not originally from here, so just meeting with people and things like that. We are in the process of hiring our coach as well. So at this level, our coach does a lot of the things to put together the team with the players and recruiting and things like that. So just getting somebody in here that knows the Northwoods League and has some really big time recruiting schools that he has relationships with and things like that. That's kind of on the docket for me. So we're in the stages of doing some interviews and things like that right now for that as well.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely a very exciting time, and I assume, I assume you're wearing different hats throughout the day. You're probably, talking to civic leaders or talking to businesses. How's your staff looking right now? Is it so where you
Yeah.
want it to be?
Yeah, absolutely. We actually have we're pretty lucky. We got on the train pretty early
Nice.
with staffing and things like that. So we actually have 5 full-time people, including myself out here already. Maximum we'd be at 7 before the season starts. So we're really looking for 1, maybe 2 more. But yeah, we're pretty much all here. We had somebody move up here from Waco, Texas.
Mm,
Somebody moved he's originally from Ohio, but he was living in Jupiter, Florida,
okay.
and moved up
Wow.
here. So definitely a far
Hu-
trek for those two.
yeah, huge change of pace. And then you're originally from outside Omaha and Papillion, correct?
Yep, exactly. I'm from outside of Omaha. I've lived
All
in
right.
Bismarck, North Dakota for about 4 years now, but yes.
So you're used to the Dakotas. It's your home for now, and
Yes. Home
what
for now and
yeah.
at least a while longer.
So coming from Nebraska, are you a fan of the Runza?
Of course.
Of
Are you
course.
from
Okay.
Nebraska?
No, I'm not. I just I have a YouTube video of me eating a Runza.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Runzas are very good. The Runza chain in general is good though. Like even
Okay.
the other stuff, not just the Runzas are good. What did you think? Did you like it?
No, I enjoyed it. I actually I try to do a copycat at home. I wrote an article about it for Stadium Journey. A group of people from Stadium Journey met up in Des Moines, and we decided to drive out to Omaha during the World Series in
Yep.
2019. We checked out the Storm Chasers game, and I'm like,
Nice.
oh, there's a place called Runza. We have to go there. And I took him to the Papillion location, and
There you go. Well, because
I
you were over in Papillion anyway for the Storm
yeah.
Chasers. So there
Yeah,
you
no,
go.
I loved it. We went to Hy-Vee, bought some cans of corn, got them for free. We loved it. I like that ballpark a lot. I was just doing our AAA ballpark ratings, and it's a little bit lower just because of the location, but it's
Right.
one of my not my favorites. It's one of those sneaky ballparks. It's like, this
Yeah.
is a lot better than what people
Yeah,
give it to. It's
absolutely. No, I definitely agree with that. My parents actually live right by the Storm Chasers.
yeah.
So I get to go to a couple games when I'm back home and things like that. But yeah, that's so cool. You went to Runza and Hy-Vee. You're
Yeah.
making me hungry here thinking
Oh,
about all my favorites down in Omaha
I
we don't
know.
have up here.
Yeah, see, I'm from New Jersey, so I miss pork roll. I miss a good slice of New York style pizza.
I love it.
Those are the things. Disco fries. Those are the things I miss from back home. I could get them out here. So,
Right.
yeah, runs I had to make. It didn't come out as well as I thought,
Right. Never
but
does. No.
yeah, it never does. But yeah, I remember contacted headquarters. People were very friendly with me, so I
Well, I have a
enjoyed that.
question for you while we're on the food topic.
Oh,
Have
go
you
for it.
ever had tater tot hot dish?
I probably had some kind of concoction of that. Yes.
And that is
Yeah.
really what it is. It's a concoction. So
Yeah. It's a
yeah, I mean, that is so popular up here. I had never had tater tot hot dish until I moved to North Dakota.
okay.
But up here, we tell people the name and they're like, oh, I just had tater tot hot dish last night.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting.
Like what's the most popular way they make it up there? What are the cheese, some kind of protein?
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting because most hot dishes in Minnesota, from what I understand, don't have cheese on them. But
Okay.
here it's really popular it's like a ground beef. Sometimes it'll have like some type of hash brown mixed in with that part as well. And then cheese. I think they always do like a cream of mushroom soup. And then on the top, it's like these perfectly lined tater tot rows that look so pretty. So that's pretty typical. But yeah, I mean, you can find any sort of thing in there. Sometimes there's green beans. You always got to get some
Oh, yeah.
onions, all the different things. So
And,
yes,
and this is something people make. You don't go to a restaurant to get this, correct?
most of the time
Most
people
of the
make it.
time.
This is most of the time they remember like their grandmas or their mom or their aunt. They always say, oh, so-and-so makes the best tater tot hot dish.
Yes.
Like you said, everyone makes it differently.
Yes.
So it's pretty interesting. But we will be serving it at the ballpark, and we actually serve it down at the ballpark in Bismarck, North Dakota too, which is the first time I had ever had it. So yeah, but you can get pretty crazy with it, or it can be pretty like a typical hot dish too. So
yeah, I know. I went to Green Bay a few years ago, and when they were still called the Booyah,
Oh
and
yeah.
they had that chicken bouillon stew, which is something everybody makes differently, and you bring it, they have it at church gatherings. And so I didn't know what booyah was, but yeah, when I heard hot
Yeah.
dish, I'm like, oh yeah, I know what that is.
Yeah.
I tell you, North Dakota, I remember in 2020 during the pandemic, I think the Larks were the only team, one of the few teams playing in the country. I thought about hopping in the car, filling my tank up with like $1.44 gas, and just or or renting a car for like $10 a day, and
Right.
just driving out there and coming back. Because I told my wife, I said, I haven't been to North Dakota since I was a kid in 1995, and it's been too long. I need to go
Yeah.
back and visit. So now that there's a couple ball clubs out there, that may be a good reason.
Yeah, hey, you can hit us both in a pretty quick time here now
Yeah.
down in Minot and Bismarck. But yeah, I mean Bismarck just the I was there for the summer of 2020 and it was just crazy. It was June 15th in
Mhm.
2020. We had fans in the stands and we're playing baseball. It was pretty crazy. We were the first organized sporting
Yeah.
event to play with fans in the stands. So it was crazy. We actually had 3 teams. We couldn't travel because the Northwoods League, all the other teams are so far away and
Mhm.
across state lines. And so we created 3 teams. We played kind of round robin, 72 games in about 80 days, all home games. It was pretty
Yeah,
crazy.
no, you're right. Because I remember telling my wife, she's like, "No, what's the point of driving out to North Dakota? Nothing's going to be open." But thinking about it,
Yeah.
so I decided to go to Traverse City.
Mm,
The Pit Spitters, who were doing the same thing, about a 6-hour drive for me. Very
yeah.
beautiful part of the country.
Oh yeah.
I feel like I'm out on the outskirts of Seattle,
Yeah.
out there, and
In terms of
very
just
nice.
a uh tourist destination, I think you made the right decision
Okay, yeah,
based on Traverse City versus Bismarck. But yeah, I mean, I'm a little biased on our side of things too.
no,
But
I
Traverse
hear.
City is beautiful. Plus the Pit Spitters, I mean, they have probably the best logo. Maybe the Hot Tots might rival that a little
Hmm.
bit, but
Oh
the
yeah,
Pit
it's a
Spitters is
yeah, it's
genius. So
yeah, it's another logo that you look at like, oh man, that's such a cool logo. I love it, and I think that's what makes a lot of us baseball folks happy is that we see these awesome logos. We want to buy a cap. We just want to make sure we have enough money in our bank account to pay bills because it can get a little crazy. I mean, there's guys I know, they buy maybe 2 to 4 hats a month, $30 a pop. Yeah, it
yeah,
could it could get up there. It could be an addiction
like a
if
car
you don't
payment,
control it.
right?
Yeah, exactly. Car payment, credit card payment. Uh,
Right.
so the ballpark itself, any changes, anything different we're going to see there this year with the new club?
Yeah, so there are a couple of changes that we want to make right away. So Corbett Field is pretty old.
Mhm.
It's an old style. I believe it's over 80 years old. If I'm correct, I think it was like 1935 when it was built. And so with that,
Yes.
it's one of those ballparks. It has how do I describe this? Like when you walk up, it's this big, huge looking tall building with a box office that you walk right up to it. And then it actually has not a lot of people, so they don't enter this way anymore,
Hmm.
but it has the old school entries where you would go up the ramp through and then you'd come out in the middle of the grandstand seating and look out to the ball field. So again, it has this really cool, I know you're probably trying to picture that in your mind, but
No,
it has,
yeah, I'm gonna look up it at on Google Earth, see what that looks
okay.
like. Okay,
Yeah,
here it
for
is.
sure. And they
Oh
don't
yeah,
even
yeah, there it is.
Yeah, they don't even use those entrances anymore. And
Yeah.
now that you're on Google Earth is perfect because then the other kind of key part of the historic part of Corbett Field is the outfield wall used to be zigzag. So if
Mhm.
you look, you can see the green brick wall around that whole entire outside is the zigzag wall.
Yes, I
Yes,
see it.
it's pretty unique. And so there are some of these like old charming parts of Corbett Field that are really, really cool and unique. And we want to keep all of those. The ones
Mhm.
that are, these things that you just don't see every day. We want to keep some of that. The playing surface is amazing. Recently, in the last couple of years, they switched over to turf. So it's absolutely beautiful. But there are, with that being said, with it being an older facility, a couple of renovations that we want to do. You have seen many. I think you did write up on the Kalamazoo Growlers. And they have all of their different seating, 4 top tables and group style
Yes.
seating and all those different things. So there's a little of that to be done in year 1 right away. we're actually probably going to build something very similar to what they have out onto the field a little bit. The seats are a little far away. So some of that stuff we want to do right away. But the exciting thing is they really haven't had, Minot Park District hasn't really had a reason necessarily to do any updates recently. And they're super excited to have us here. So they actually started a master planning process already of basically total remodel of Corbett Field. So again, if you come up to Minot, maybe wait a couple years so you can see the brand new product.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
We want to keep that old school charm, but get some new updated stuff in there too. So
yeah, see, I love the old ballparks. I'm looking at Corbett right now. It's a very straight grandstand.
yeah.
And you're right. It's got those two old entrances that are, I guess, sealed up now. Is the box office still open?
Yep. The box office is still open. You know what's crazy is those entrances are still open. They just don't open that door to get up them during games. So I've been up and was able to kind of check it out and stuff. But even with the renovations we've talked about, can we make that some type of cool thing where people can walk up there and maybe that's not the way they enter, but then they can kind of see what it was like in that old school field, just because you don't want to get rid of that completely. But you just want to make it a little more comfier and a few different group options.
Yeah, and that's the thing about these old ballparks. Sometimes they're just knocked down. It's like, okay, bye, let's replace it with something else. So if you can, hold on to something from the 1930s, it's and still play baseball and still provide fans excitement there, because I assume if I go to a game in a few years, even this year, I'm going to see on-field promotions. I'm going to see some tasty food. Everybody wants to be like the Savannah Bananas, but I'm sure you guys are just like, hey, we just want to bring fans to the stadium, sell some beer, sell some soda, and have a great time. And that can be easily done at any type of ballpark. I've been to 500-seat ballparks where I've seen beer gardens, or somebody had a small little grill selling hot dogs and burgers for a couple bucks. That's what gets me excited. Just having fans at the stadium on a nice night enjoying baseball. So
absolutely nothing better than that.
Definitely looking forward to hearing more about you guys. If I do come to Minot, or if anybody shows up, what are some things to do when there's no baseball game going on? Maybe you want to spend a few days there and check things out. What do you recommend?
Absolutely. Well, I would recommend booking your game that you come out to a Hot Tots game around the North Dakota State Fair, because that is located in Minot. It's a big deal up here. So it lasts about a week and a half. We have some big name artists that actually come in. We had Sam Hunt, Kid Rock, a lot of different artists, some country, some of those kind of rock artists as well, though. So that's what I would suggest, because you're going to really get the best of both worlds, a really cool baseball game and event. But then, nothing beats a state fair. So that's what I would suggest as the number one thing to do. But other than that, there is quite a bit of like fishing and different things like that to do. There's a lake halfway between Bismarck and Minot that a ton of people go out on the lake during the summer and have lake houses and things like that. And so a lot of just kind of, people in North Dakota during the summer like to be outside. So anything that we can do to be outside, even if it's, going to our local parks, and we actually have a pretty good zoo as well. So those things, people love to do that stuff.
Yeah. And that's the thing, when you're a ballpark traveler, you don't, you go to certain tourist destination or popular spots, but every now and then you find yourself in a place like Minot, or North Dakota or South Dakota, or someplace in Traverse City, which is a popular spot, but it's just a little bit out there for some of us. So that's the enjoyment. And then you go to these towns and you're like, wow, that was a great place. That was a great place to visit. Maybe I'll come back, or maybe I have some stories to tell people, or maybe I so that's always fun to see, and I'm looking forward. I wish you guys the best of success this year. And, this could be the start of a great brand that, will have hats sold in 50 states plus numerous countries. That'll probably definitely occur.
Well, we're excited about it, and we appreciate you kind of giving us a little bit of your attention as well. And we hope to see you at a game too, whether it's soon or whether it's when that ballpark's all renovated. We would like to see you both times. So
well, if things don't work out this year, there you go. 2025 when all the renovations are done. And like you said, if you compare this up with a trip down to Bismarck, which is what 2-3 hours.
It's actually just an hour and a half.
Oh,
So
Even
not
better.
far at all. You definitely should hit both if you're going to. And
Yeah.
honestly,
Oh,
if you are able to get tickets to a Bismarck Larks Minot Hot Tots game, those are going to be pretty fun. The Minot Bismarck rivalries are pretty strong in all kind of levels of
okay.
sports and everything.
Okay.
So
So they'll bring a bus of people up there and have
oh, yeah,
a rooters section.
I
There you go.
believe it. I think so.
All
So
right, great. So, all right. Well, Monica, thanks for coming on. If you want to let people know where we can find you,
yeah,
you got
absolutely.
the floor.
Minot Hot Tots baseball. Sorry. Oh my goodness. It's hottotsbaseball.com. So hottotsbaseball.com. They can find anything if it's from tickets to merch to anything else. It's all on there. Hottotsbaseball.com.
All right. Thank you, Monica.
Yes. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. Take care.
You too.
All right. That was Monica Blake for the Minot Hot Tots. I think that was a little bit of a short interview. I think sometimes I could talk to people for about a good hour, but it was like, oh yeah, let's wrap this up. And I just went with the ending. So I hope she doesn't think I cut that off too short, but she's a busy person. She's a GM of a new baseball team. So she's got stuff to do. But yeah, I'm looking forward to see the jerseys, some shirts, a little more merchandise. That is a cool logo. And I am like a lot of you guys that listen to this podcast. I want to go out there and I want to buy all these hats, all these shirts. I just want to be decorated in minor league baseball hats and whatnot. But then I realize how much I'm spending, and I do have two dogs to take care of. I got a car payment, I have cell phone bills, internet bills, electricity. I have a wife who likes to spend money as well out of my bank account, so I have to be a little bit wise with my decision. But yeah, that Hot Tot logo is friggin' awesome. I really enjoy that, and when I say that's a home run, it's a winner. It's a winner. It's amazing. So, uh, yeah, I really enjoyed being able to talk to Monica because, like I said, that team just began at the time of this broadcast a little over a week ago, not even 2 weeks old. And here we are talking about the Minot Hot Tots. I do have to make a confession. I think up until the release of the logo, I was calling it Minot, North Dakota. Minot. It's not, it's Minot. I know they had a team in they had a team in 1995 when I was in the area. They were called the Dakota Rattlers. And I think they're in the Pioneer League, the Prairie League. I think it was the Pioneer League. I think Lee Mazzilli was the commissioner. And they were called the Dakota Rattlers, and they must have played at Corbett. So yeah, no, it's fun times. And another reason why I wanted her on here, another reason why I like that logo is because earlier this summer I created a logo for what I think the Terre Haute Rex of the Prospect League should rename themselves. They should become the Terre Haute Tots. And it was a drawing, a very crude drawing. Here it is up on the screen of a tot holding a baseball bat and running. Little bit similar to what I think she said Jonathan created for the baseball club in Minot. And as soon as I saw the Minot logo, I was like, damn, I had something this whole time. And I didn't release it. I didn't post it on Twitter like I did with some other logos. And they beat me to it. Well, they didn't beat me to it. I beat them to it. They just released this before me. But yeah, Terre Haute Tots, which is a short term for Hottentot, which came from the word Hottentot or Hottentot, which was described somebody from Terre Haute back in like 1860, 1870. Hottentot, I don't know how to say that. But they started calling the baseball team the Hottentots. And then they became the Tots. And then in 1911, somebody's like, no, we're not going to be called the Tots anymore. We're going to be called the Miners. And then they became the Stags and the Browns and the Terriers and the Wheelerites. Never heard that one. And then they became other names like the Huts and the Phillies and the Tigers. So, but everybody always called them the Tots, the Terre Haute Tots. That even sounds pretty cool to say, Terre Haute Tots. So the Prospect League folks, if you listen to me, let's come up with the Terre Haute Tots I don't know. Maybe you can't now. Maybe there's a infraction, copyright infringement. So you have to hire a lawyer and they have to look at paperwork. And the folks up in Minot might say, why not? And send you a cease and desist letter. So, just my suggestion. So, hey guys, thanks for listening to the show. I appreciate it. Monica, great to have you on. I mean, like I said, a little over a week and a half, and she comes on this show to talk to me and give me a little information about things. And we had a little food talk about runzas. I mean, can't complain about a runza, a very hearty meal at a Nebraska Huskers football game. All right. So, folks, if you're not listening to me, you should be listening to these folks. One of them is Paul Caputo. He has the Baseball by Design podcast, and you can listen to his latest entry. It's all about the Columbia Fireflies. He talks about the nickname with team broadcaster John, I don't know how to say his last name, Kosis, Tiffany Chen, and Rick Daniel from the design firm. Is it Simon Studio? Sky Design. Yeesh. Sky Design are his other guest, and he does a lot of he has a lot of people on his show. He talks not to just one person, but he'll talk to the team, he'll talk to the person who designed it, and then he'll talk to somebody else. And it's a fun time. I just talked to one person. I don't know. I'm lazy. I am lazy. You know, I just want to talk to one person, call it a day, and that's it. So listen to Mr. Paul Caputo, because he does a lot there. He does a little better job getting the guest all at once. And if you're not listening to him, or when you're done, you can listen to Ed Rivera of the Dad Hat Chronicles. He's got Josh Duckworth of once again, I don't know how to say this name, Sowegans SC, which is a soccer team in Southwest Georgia. I don't know what that's about, but I'm going to listen to that after this show. That sounds like a lot of fun. Check it out. He talks to everybody now. He talks to people who make hats, who make wallets. He talks to baseball clubs, and he does a good job there. And of course, you also should be listening to Anna. She does the bucket list, and Anna has a lot of great people on there. Hold on. I pulled up Anna's bucket head list. I came up with the bucket list, which I think is Dutch. So please don't, that has nothing to do with baseball. The baseball bucket list. Anna Di Tommaso. She's going to talk to Scott Evans, the inspiration behind the Sandlot. He's a Dodger fan who recently relocated to Boise, Idaho, a city I have never been to. And he's going to talk about the Sandlot, Radio Flyer, both of which his brother David Mickey Evans wrote and directed. So she's talking to some Hollywood directors here, or brothers of Hollywood directors. So yeah, she's doing a good thing. She's doing some great stuff there. So those are 3 other podcasts you can listen to. And you can listen to mine, and you may find your favorite. And I don't care. Just listen to who you like. And there's other people up there. I'll give you guys a shout out next time. I just decided to do something a little bit different now. So, hey, guys, thanks for listening. Appreciate you contacting me at Ballpark Hunter on YouTube, Ballpark Hunter on Twitter. And, of course, you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok. And you can follow me on Facebook. That's Mark Viquez. I don't have a Ballpark Hunter Facebook page, which I don't know why I don't have one. So until next time, guys, stay safe, be careful, and we'll see you at the ballpark. Adios.
I'm the Ballpark Hunter. If you like my videos, please hit subscribe as I visit another ballpark.